The city bus rattled through downtown at p.m. as Olivia Chen slumped in her seat, exhausted beyond measure. At 24, she was 3 months into her marketing internship at a prestigious firm, working 14-hour days for minimal pay, living on ramen and coffee, and questioning whether her dream career was worth the exhaustion. Tonight had been particularly brutal, a client presentation that ran until p.m., followed by her supervisor demanding revisions for tomorrow's meeting. Olivia had missed the express bus and was stuck on the local route that stopped every 2 blocks. She closed her eyes for just a moment, telling herself she would stay awake. But exhaustion won. When Olivia's head drooped onto the shoulder of the stranger sitting beside her, she was too deeply asleep to notice. The stranger, a man in his early 30s wearing a casual button-down shirt, looked down at the sleeping woman who had unconsciously used him as a pillow. He could have woken her, could have shifted away, but something about her obvious exhaustion made him stay still. 20 minutes later, the bus jolted over a pothole and Olivia jerked awake. She realized with horror that she was leaning on a complete stranger. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." She sat up abruptly, her face burning with embarrassment. "I did not mean to. I have been working late and I am just so tired, and it is fine," the man said with a gentle smile. "You looked like you needed the sleep more than I needed my shoulder." Olivia looked at him properly for the first time. He was handsome, with kind eyes and an expression that suggested genuine concern rather than annoyance. "I really am sorry," Olivia repeated. "That was so unprofessional. We are on a public bus at p.m. I think professional standards are relaxed." He extended his hand. "I am Ryan." "Olivia." She shook his hand, still mortified. "Please tell me. I was not asleep for too long." "About 20 minutes. You missed 4 stops." 4. Olivia checked her phone and panic set in. No, miss my stop. Now, I have to get off and wait for a bus going the other direction, and I will not get home until midnight, and I have to be back at work by 7. "Where do you live?" Ryan asked. "Riverside Apartments. About 10 blocks from where I should have gotten off. I have a car parked 2 stops from here. Let me drive you home." Olivia's first instinct was to refuse. Accepting rides from strangers violated every safety rule. But Ryan seemed genuinely kind. The bus was nearly empty, and she was so tired she could barely think straight. "I should not accept," Olivia said. "Stranger danger and all that." Completely reasonable concern. Ryan pulled out his phone and showed her his driver's license, his business card, and his social media profiles. "Here is my identification. You can text all of this to a friend before getting in the car. I promise I am just trying to help, not being creepy." Olivia examined the information. Ryan Mitchell, age 32. The business card listed him as affiliated with Mitchell Consulting Group, though it did not specify his role. "Okay," Olivia decided, "but I'm texting my roommate all your information and telling her to call the police if I do not check in within 30 minutes. "Smart," Ryan approved. "Do exactly that." In Ryan's car, a nice but not ostentatious sedan, they talked during the short drive. Olivia told him about her internship, the brutal hours, the demanding supervisor who seemed to delight in last-minute assignments. "Why do you put up with it?" Ryan asked. "Because it is a prestigious firm. If I can survive this internship and get hired full-time, my career is set. I just have to make it through 6 more months, and if the 6 months destroy your health and sanity, then I will deal with that after I get the job offer," Olivia said tiredly. Ryan pulled up to her apartment building. "Can I give you some advice? From someone who has been in the corporate world for a while?" "Sure. A company that tests your commitment by breaking you down is not worth your commitment. Good employers want engaged, healthy employees, not exhausted ones who barely function. If your internship is this brutal, the full-time job will be worse." "But it is a prestigious firm," Olivia protested weakly. "Prestige is not worth your well-being." "Trust me, I learned that lesson the hard way." Ryan handed her his business card. "If you ever want to talk about it, or if you need advice on finding a company that will treat you like a human being, call me." Olivia took the card, surprised by the genuine offer. "Thank you for the ride and the advice. Thank you for the nap on my shoulder. It is the most human interaction I have had in weeks." Over the following days, Olivia could not stop thinking about Ryan's words. She watched her supervisor's behavior with new eyes, the unreasonable demands, the expectation that interns sacrifice everything for the company, the culture that treated exhaustion as a badge of honor. When her supervisor assigned her a weekend project that would require canceling plans with her family, Olivia finally reached her breaking point. She pulled out Ryan's business card and sent a simple text. "Is your offer to talk still open?" Ryan responded immediately, "Absolutely. Coffee tomorrow?" They met at a quiet cafe. Olivia poured out her frustrations about the internship, the impossible expectations, the realization that she was sacrificing her well-being for a company that saw her as disposable. "So what do I do?" Olivia asked. "I have invested 3 months. If I quit now, do I lose everything?" "You lose a toxic job at a company that does not value you. That is not losing, that is escaping." Ryan paused. "Can I make you an offer? And before you say yes, I need to be completely transparent with you about something," Olivia said, uncertain. "I am not just affiliated with Mitchell Consulting Group. I own it. I am the CEO. We are a mid-sized marketing consultancy, and we are currently looking for junior marketers to join our team. The work is challenging, but the hours are reasonable. The pay is fair, and we believe burned-out employees do bad work." Olivia stared at him. "You are a CEO?" "I fell asleep on a CEO's shoulder on a bus." "You fell asleep on a stranger's shoulder, who happened to be a CEO," Ryan corrected with a smile, "and who was impressed by your dedication, but worried about your employer's ethics. Come interview with my team. If they think you are a good fit based on your skills, not because I gave you a ride home, the job is yours." Olivia interviewed with Ryan's company and was offered a position based on her portfolio and performance, not favoritism. The salary was better, the hours reasonable, and the culture valued efficiency over performative exhaustion. 3 months into her new job, Olivia had rediscovered what work-life balance felt like. She was doing excellent work, learning constantly, and actually had energy for her personal life. "You saved me," she told Ryan one evening when they happened to leave the office at the same time, 6 p.m., a reasonable hour. "That night on the bus changed everything." "You saved yourself," Ryan said. "I just pointed out that you deserved better. You made the choice to believe it. Can I confess something?" Olivia asked as they walked to the parking garage. "That night, I was so tired I almost did not care about stranger danger. But there was something about you that felt safe. Not just safe kind, like you genuinely cared about helping rather than taking advantage." "Can I confess something?" Ryan replied. "When you fell asleep on my shoulder, I thought about waking you, but you looked so exhausted that I could not do it. In that moment, I realized how much the corporate world had damaged my capacity for basic human compassion. You reminded me that sometimes people just need kindness, not judgment." They stood in the parking garage, the professional boundaries they had carefully maintained suddenly feeling less important than the connection they had built over months of respectful interaction. "I have wanted to ask you something for a while," Ryan said, "but I did not want you to feel pressured because I am your boss." "Asked," Olivia said. "Would you have dinner with me? Not as employer and employee, but as two people who met on a bus, when one of them desperately needed to sleep and the other one was kind enough to let them." Olivia smiled. "Yes, but only if you promise to never forget that you are the CEO who let a complete stranger use him as a pillow instead of waking her up. That says more about your character than any job title ever could." 1 year after that bus ride, Ryan proposed appropriately, on a city bus they rented for the occasion, decorated with lights and filled with their friends and family. "You fell asleep on my shoulder when you were too exhausted to care about appearances," Ryan said. "You showed me authentic need in a world where everyone pretends to have everything together. You reminded me that leadership is not about power, it is about recognizing when someone needs help and choosing to provide it." Through her tears, Olivia laughed. "I fell asleep on a stranger because I was working a terrible job with brutal hours. You helped me escape, and then gave me a chance to prove myself properly. Thank you for being the person who saw someone struggling and chose compassion." At their wedding, Olivia's toast made everyone laugh. I literally fell asleep on my husband during our first meeting. Most relationship advice says not to do that, but somehow, that moment of complete vulnerability led to everything. It taught me that the right person will see you at your most exhausted, most stressed, most human, and will choose kindness. Thank you, Ryan, for letting me sleep and then helping me wake up to a better life.